We have a venue that's not built and a league that's not played.
No players.
Otherwise, we've got this locked in.
But our marketing manager's signing autographs. I am going to be the president of MVL Teams 5. Like, you're the 5th team.
Indy Pro Volleyball.
That is crazy.
You got to balance confidence, vision, inspiration, and realness and directness. If you're going to be in this, like, this is what it's going to be about.
Everything's coming together. Now it's the big day. Take me through how you were feeling then. From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Hey Indiana, if you've been thinking about upgrading your ride or refinancing your current loan, let me tell you about my friends at Elements Financial. They make auto loans simple, smart, and stress-free. We're talking low rates, fewer fees, and you can close in as little as a few business days. The process can be entirely virtual or over the phone, so no need to take time off work or sit in a branch. Whether you're buying new, used, or refinancing to lower your rate or payment, Elements has flexible terms to fit your budget. And because they're a credit union, they're all about helping people achieve financial success, which means they're focused on what works for you. So if you're ready to make your next move, head to elements.org/getingear and see how much you could save. That's elements.org/getingear. Elements Financial, like a bank, only better, federally insured by NCUA. My guest today is Mary Kay M.K. Huse, and she is the president and general manager of the Indy Ignite professional volleyball team, Indiana's first professional women's volleyball team. She leads the franchise's business operations, fan experience, and long-term growth strategy, as well as in the role of GM, managing all of the volleyball operations. If you guys remember the episode that we just put out, hiring coaches, signing players, all the jazz, it's awesome. She's an Indiana native and a proud DePaul University graduate. Go Tigers. She's passionate about making Indiana a national volleyball destination while expanding opportunities for women in sports and tech. We're going to be talking about MK's road to the Ignite and really going all in on professional women's volleyball here in the state of Indiana and just the sport and how it's growing in general. We're going to talk about building a franchise from square zero. How do you even start? What do you have to do? What are the steps that go into it? And we're going to talk about why Indiana, why volleyball, and why now. MK, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So when I graduated from DePaul and I moved to town, this would be 2019, I was always looking on LinkedIn and trying to find the movers and shakers and Tiger alumni, and your name has been near the top of my list, but this is our first time ever meeting. So I'm really pumped up about this conversation, and I'm excited to dive into how you ended up as the president and general manager of Indiana's first professional women's volleyball team, especially when your background had almost career-wise nothing to do with sports. Did you play sports in college?
I did.
You were on the tennis team, right?
Now that I'm surrounded by professional athletes, I was a D3, so you know.
Hey, we got to rep that loud and proud.
Yes,
Come on.
I played DePaul tennis.
Okay, and so
great D3 program.
I mean, it actually is.
It is.
And great facilities for Division
I could
III.
never make the team now.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, I always say I was on the football team. I did not play football in college, but I was on the team. And I became the social media guy by the time I was a senior because I could, especially now, football is good too. I could not make the team. But nevertheless, when you graduated from DePaul, did you know you wanted to get in, was the goal to try to get into sports? Or did you somehow just fall into... Did you go a different path to start?
It was like a joke almost. I mean, I grew up with 2 older brothers. My dad was a high school basketball coach in Indiana in the 80s. So, its own religion.
Did classes ruin basketball?
Yes.
Yes. Everywhere I go, I just find people from the heyday. Because I think it was 98 or 99 when they put in classes.
Yes.
And
it was right after I graduated high school.
They ruined it. Okay, so your dad was a basketball coach.
Yes, and then I had 2 older brothers. I have 2 older brothers. I played. That was back when you could be a 3-sport athlete in high school, and I played volleyball, basketball, and tennis. So sports is definitely part of who I am. It's in my DNA. I always joke that I wanted to be the Colts GM at some point in my life. No skills whatsoever to do that, other than armchair quarterback, but. So it's only a joke, really. Yeah. But then I was more excited about technology really when I late high school years. And then technology kind of led me into understanding how much I loved entrepreneurialism and building things from scratch.
When did you graduate from DePaul?
2002.
Okay, so you end up coming to Indianapolis at like the heyday of Indianapolis tech. So to be someone that's interested in tech and entrepreneurship at the rise of ExactTarget, all that stuff, like had to be just like the coolest place to land in the state of Indiana if you were interested in tech.
It was really, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Yeah, I was really interested in it. My first real job was like the summer after my high school senior year. I worked for InMotion, which is an internet provider. They're like the first internet service provider for Boone County. And I was like resetting people's passwords and stuff. But I was just at the center of that and got addicted to it. And then you land at ExactTarget, and that's, the golden story of tech in Indiana.
Didn't you were at ExactTarget in Salesforce for like 15 years plus?
Yes.
I
was an Orr Fellow right out of DePaul and worked at Rose Hillman Ventures. And through the Orr Fellowship, I did like a day visit to ExactTarget, and then that's where I went next. And I was employee 55, 60-ish. We were about $8 million in revenue at the time.
That's insane. Okay, so I was also an Orr Fellow. Shout out. We love the Orr Fellowship. Great time. 55. Was Steve Foudy there at the time?
Absolutely.
Dude, he tells the greatest stories about ExactTarget, that Scott's trunk was the locked filing cabinet where they kept like the personal records and stuff. Like, he was telling me the story, and I'm like, that is so cool. Like,
it was like classic. My first day, I did have training, which was a big deal. And then they were like, yeah, you're going to sit, here. And then they like grabbed like a lounge chair and put it against a table. And they're like, this will work. And they handed me a list of 600 accounts and said, start calling these people. Let's see if they're going to renew. Let's see how they're doing. My first role was an account manager.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very classic startup stories.
I mean, so cool. Like, I just get, like, we're in the early stage of our startup right now, and it's very much like, like find a mouse here and find a monitor here and some chairs and put it all together and let's go. So fun. You ended up as the EVP and COO of Marketing Cloud for Salesforce?
We raised about $150 million in 2009, and one of the top priorities was international expansion. And I had been asking Scott Dorsey for years, like, hey, whenever there's an international role, I'm in. And so I moved to London, spent 3 years in London, opening up our offices outside of, it's funny, actually, our second office outside of Indianapolis was London. And then we opened a bunch of other ones in the U.S. So I was there for 3 years. And then I went to San Francisco for 7. And we were acquired while I was in San Francisco. And so I had the opportunity to kind of like step outside of Marketing Cloud, do a bunch of other things. And then I was ready to move back to Indiana.
Okay,
and that was a good time to get back into Marketing Cloud.
Let's talk about that. Getting to grow up in Lebanon, go to Greencastle, you end up in Indianapolis, then take a huge, maybe not risk, but huge career move to go to London, then San Francisco. Why did you end up wanting to come back to Indiana?
After 7 years in San Francisco, I was just getting the vibe of the place and started to get motivated by other things than just climbing the ladder, which I was admittedly pretty focused on, like just bigger roles, new things. I mean, in 15 years, I did like 12 jobs.
All within Salesforce ExactTarget.
Yes.
Which, this is pretty cool. So you were the heyday of like the early Indianapolis tech, scene. Like, that's when Angie's was ripping. That's when ExactTarget was ripping. Then you got to San Francisco, and this is like when other really cool tech companies are ripping in San Francisco. Would that be like, what is it? What years were that? Like, that's like,
I was in San Francisco from like 2012 to 2018.
This is like really cool times when Meta, or I guess it would be Facebook and Netflix and all those cool businesses are like exploding.
Funny reels you see or Silicon Valley show, like it's not far off.
like you're chilling, like you're probably chilling at like Blue Bottle Coffee, and Mark Zuckerberg walks in his Allbirds and his vest and Patagonia, and you're ready to rock. Like, that'd be pretty cool. But what was the final decision, or like, when you were making your pros and cons list of like, hey, now it's time to leave San Francisco and specifically leave it to come back to Indianapolis?
Like I said, so I was traveling the world, taking on new roles, and it was really fun. I learned a lot. I was challenged a ton. But then I started getting more motivated by like the teams I was building and mentoring other people and figuring out like, just more impactful things than just like go on like the next big job. And so I was thinking about like, what would I do next whenever I left Salesforce? And I actually was pretty focused on wanting to start my own thing. I've never been the person that like is sitting around trying to think of the big idea, but I did have this inclination towards like wanting to build something from scratch. I'd done all these new initiatives from scratch, but within the like safety net of a large corporation. I mean, the London office was a startup too, but we had, a bigger organization behind us, funding us, kind of like letting us, we were going to be okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But I got that itch. So I knew I wanted to do something from scratch, and I actually knew I wanted to do it with the Midwest culture, not the West Coast culture.
Oh. What did you like more about the Midwest culture versus the West Coast culture?
It's really cutthroat out there. And
like, do you have a story or an example when you say it's cut? Because I think it's like easy to like watch Silicon Valley and like you kind of laugh about it and everyone's like coding out of their, their big mansion house with 50 startups packed into it. But I'd love to, if you have a story of where you realize.
I don't know if I have a story, but I will say I've met so many wonderful people in Salesforce and like still friends today. But when you're, in the quarterly business review, there's no loyalties. You gotta check those loyalties at the door. It is like who's performing, who's not performing, what's going to keep going, what's going to not keep going. And it's really lonely is probably the best word for it. It's kind of business before everything else. The Midwest culture is probably an overcompensation. I probably was too aggressive for that culture in my early parts of my career, and I've kind of learned how to like soften the edges a little bit. Midwest nice is a thing for sure. Want people to be direct and efficient, but it's just a little bit more personal. It's more people oriented. It's more relationship based, and than my experience out west. So
okay, so you end up coming back and you had the urge to start something, and you end up as co-founder and CEO of Mandolin?
Yes.
At a very interesting time. Because this is like June of 2020, right? And it's a virtual events platform that like explodes.
Yes. So many people don't know this, but I was going to be an operating partner at High Alpha. And I was due to start like later that month in May. High Alpha had their sprint weeks, and multiple times there had been ideas that I had like talked with them about maybe doing. And their sprint weeks, the whole concept is you either generate an idea or somebody brings an idea, and then you throw like 40 people at it for a week. You prototype, you call 50 potential customers, like you pressure test. Is this a thing or not?
When I heard about this for the first time, I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever heard of a company or a corporation or business doing. It's like, you get to just like have ideas and sprint at it for a week. Like, that's so cool.
It's pretty incredible, pretty unique.
Yeah.
And so they had done this sprint week for what became Mandolin and had talked to, their market interviews. So I kind of had this like due diligence packet handed to me of like, here's what we've done the last week. We want to invest. Like the output of sprint week was, we're going to do this, but we really want it to be you. And I talked to Scott for a while. I talked to Eric Tobias for a while, who owns the Vogue, so had a unique perspective of the music industry. And they'd done all these interviews with different artist managers, venue owners, and that really validated this could be a thing. And it honestly came down to like, shit, they're going to do this with or without me, which was a very similar story to volleyball. And I want to do it. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it from the beginning. So within a week, I dove in head first to starting Mandolin.
Moving fast really helps. And I mean, I feel like I remember it was kind of off to the races from the beginning.
It
right?
was. It was incredible. I mean, in week 3, we did our first friends and family, because they actually, in their sprint week, were able to take it farther than just a prototype. It was kind of almost an alpha version. Yeah. And then by 3 or 4 weeks later, we did a friends and family, just like dry run. And we had a local artist at the Vogue, empty Vogue, just a film crew came in.
Who's the artist?
Lily and Mandolin.
Lily and Mandolin. So you bring them on, friends and family, first virtual concert. How does it go?
It went pretty well.
Where were you at during the concert?
At the Vogue.
Okay, so like you still had some staff there.
Yes.
And how many people were watching at home?
We ended up having like 250 people log on.
And what was special about what you guys were doing versus just like hosting it on Zoom?
So one of them is the venue. I mean, a Zoom from your living room couch does not have the same production quality.
What?
And Zoom in particular, or any sort of online, like isn't built really for audio. It actually like maximizes the video aspect of it and sort of sacrifices audio where this is music.
Yeah.
And it's an artist by the truest definition of the word. You know, that's actually one of the hardest things was for the artist to overcome. Like, does my art translate in this format? And getting them on stage with all the production and lighting and like what felt like a full show to them was a big step in getting people to like try it out.
Yeah. Well, and just like playing off the crowd with no crowd.
Yeah.
Like, how do you really
Like, I don't want to
sell
perform
it?
for a camera.
Yeah.
It's like not what they're in the business for. It's not their passion. So, but we learned a lot about like kind of like the boring stuff, logging in, you know, the back end, like user experience of just like people getting into it, having a good experience. And so it's great. Glad we did it. Always encourage dry runs like that, using friends and family. And then we had Jude and the Lion the first week of July. So kind of 6 weeks after we started.
It's like, yep, we're ready to rock.
We're in. And we had like 3,000 people join that. And actually buy tickets for
Where
it.
did they perform?
They performed in this really cool studio in Nashville, which is where they were based. And so we partnered with somebody there, and studio. They're used to like that's another place they're used to performing.
Yeah.
So that was really comfortable. They loved doing it.
What was the biggest event or biggest concert you guys ended up hosting?
We partnered with AEG and streamed the Firefly Festival out on the East Coast, and we had over 100,000 people join in at some point. I mean, their headliners were like The Killers.
That's crazy.
Lizzo.
Oh, I mean, total vibe.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And the other piece, right, is as of the time goes on, you started in 2020, you moved very quickly. You know, you captured a lot of market share when it came to hosting this. But after 18 months or whatever, people are not that into going to virtual concerts.
Yeah, we obviously went into it knowing like there needed to be a post-COVID strategy.
Yeah.
And really just using COVID as like a accelerator. And our long-term hypothesis was actually around data, and the artists don't know who their fans are. And that was a big part of like our market conversations of, I remember Eric Tobias is a massive Counting Crows fan. We had the Counting Crows manager on the phone. He'd been to over 100 concerts. And he's like, do you know do you have any idea how many concerts I've been to? And he's like, no idea. And, you know, coming from CRM world, my digital marketing, we're like, what?
Yeah.
So the hypothesis was like, how do we help artists know who their fan is digitally and not have the venues, the ticketing companies, and the DSPs like Spotify? Those are the ones that know who their customers are, and they're holding that to kind of take a big piece of the pie. So it was, how do we drive a direct-to-consumer transformation for artists, just like many other industries had done over the previous decade. So this concert was the first way, like we gave that data to the artists to say, hey, here are your 3,000 fans that just showed up for this live stream. And by the way, live stream viewers are uber fans. So like that's who you're going to make your most money from. So then you're upselling merch, you're making sure, they're getting to their next live tour, and we're giving them the tools to do that marketing really, really simply, because an artist manager has about 75 different hats they wear. Marketing's one of those 75, which usually like falls to the bottom of the pile. So we were trying to make that easy and help them do that.
Wow. And that's like an interesting place to be at. You talk about joining like taking this from 0 to 1, growing a startup, and then like all the while in the back, you know, like we have to have another, like we got to figure out what's next. Like let's pull another rabbit out of the hat and like keep going because yeah, you know, as time goes on, it would be interesting. Like what I find crazy is that like today with like Twitch or all these live streaming platforms, like the younger generation watches people watch things. And so it's like if someone figured out how to get Kai Cenat watching the Jack Harlow concert and reacting to it, like joining in on that stream, like that sounds crazy to me to watch someone watch a concert, but like that would happen. And like people would go and like it's like I watch, I mean not a ton, but I'll watch like clips and stuff of people like playing video games or watching people play video games, and I'm like, what am I doing? This is like the internet is such a silly place. So after what? Just 3 years? Is that how long you guys ended up going?
3.5 years, yeah.
3.5 years. I think you guys end up spinning things down with Mandolin.
We had to, unfortunately.
The last piece I want to touch about this, because we're talking about volleyball and building there. I think that this is a part of the entrepreneurial journey that not a lot of people talk about. You know, growing really fast, like building your team, all of that's really fun. And coming to the end and having to make those decisions is not fun.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's very challenging and like has to be. I'm guessing from the outside, like the emotional, like talk about being Midwest nice.
Yeah,
like it's not cutthroat around these parts for usual. Take me through how you were feeling and how you deal with just like that stress and emotion. And then somehow you end up wanting to go start something basically again and get it back on the ground floor. I think that's
actually the definition of insanity. So
yeah.
Dive into that later. Yeah, it was really hard. I mean, we all believed in it. And that's probably the hardest part is you can't reconcile it in your head of like, we believe in this. We're getting all these validating points along the way. And in this particular case, even for the data platform we were building and the vision I just described, we had all of the artist managers we built amazing relationships with, develop trust. We'd help them make money in a time when they were not making money and good money, telling us, absolutely, this is exactly what we need. We've been dying for this, but like not willing to spend the money on it yet and not willing to prioritize the time on it yet. And so you have all these people telling you we need it, but your bank account is not giving you what you need to like buy the time. So my biggest lessons were startups timing. You can't control timing, and it's really everything for a market. And it has to be like this pain point that like they can't live without whatever you're giving them, because if they can kind of live without it, it's just going to take too long. And that's where we found ourselves. And we had hired a really great mix of people from the technology industry that were building an amazing software. But then a lot of people from the music industry who had never done anything with technology before and were kind of learning that, but had all the relationships and the knowledge of how the music industry worked. And we had come together and had really built like a very special culture virtually, which is really hard to do. But I mean, we even had like a virtual holiday party that got like crazy. It's like when you're just like working with everyone like every day, it was just it was just really unique and special.
In 2026, does that sound crazy to say? We had a virtual holiday party that got crazy. And at the time, you're like, "This is sick! Like, let's go!" Like everyone had their own
people were
everyone
dancing on the screen. There's like people were doing toasts and.
That's that's wild.
So anyway, we had built that special culture, and we all believed in it. Like, it was amazing. The team was not just like looking at me to solve it all. They were trying to help as well. And I was being, completely transparent with where we were and trying to raise money and what our options were. And we grew up to 80 people. And kind of in those last days, we still had a good 9 or 10 of us that were kind of pursuing all the different options that we had together. And So it's funny. I still look on it, despite the outcome. I look on that time like very fondly.
Yeah. Do you have advice for other leaders that might be listening to this episode on how to communicate to their team in times of hardship? Like, I think that sometimes the optimistic entrepreneur can be like, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, I lied, the wheels are falling off, like we're on fire. Like it's like the dog typing on the keyboard in the flames and you're like, everything is fine. Like what advice would you give to leaders that might be going through challenging times on how to communicate with their team without like inciting panic, but also being real?
That's the balance to strike, which is really hard, is you want to be inspirational. You want to keep sharing the vision, getting the enthusiasm behind that. Every person in a startup is making a personal sacrifice to be there, and whether that's financial, time, opportunity cost, whatever. So that is the balance to strike. And I have only, even before startups, just known to be like really direct, tackle hard conversations sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And be transparent. Just because you're sharing all the information, you can be clear about like what you're taking on yourself versus what you need from them. But people want context. People want the whole story. And I think it's a false nomer to think that like if you're not being transparent, like you're protecting people from things, because we're all adults and people want to know sooner rather than later. So you gotta balance confidence, vision, inspiration, and realness and directness. And if you're going to be in this, like, this is what it's going to be about.
That's such a hard balance to strike.
And it's also why startups aren't for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I think the hiring process is really important too. Like that transparency has to start right up front. You can't sell a dream that you're not, you know, and then they get there and you're like, and by the way, here's all the hard shit.
Wait, like what, like I remember someone saying like or fellowship, someone was like, yeah, our boss said we only had like 9 months of runway left or something. And I was like, I'm pretty risky. I'm like, oh yeah, 9 months.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. They're like 9 months and we're going to be out. It's like, well, yeah, if you don't make another $1 in 9 months, yeah, you're kind of screwed. Like you should have figured out how to make some money. But like not everyone, like some people are really drawn to stability and knowing that, you know, years from now, there's still going to be a paycheck coming in. And that is just a piece of startups that some people, it's not built for everyone.
Yeah.
And so for you, after finishing a very challenging yet still fun, and you say you look back on it fondly, you know, your time with Mandolin, amazing, but then you get out of, you know, that, how it ended, and you decide to dive back into the ground level of another startup that's not in tech. How did the opportunity to get involved with the Indy Ignite come about?
I had joined a board out in New York and like really leaned into helping them, and had done a couple of consulting gigs just through my network and was really enjoying it. I was like, this is awesome. I'm like tackling really, really hairy problems, and then I'm like going to sleep at night. And so I was interested in joining something where I could have a meaningful impact, and thought that I don't think I can like find that fit just in like an interview. And so my plan was to work with a bunch of different companies, add value where I could, and probably somewhere along the way that would turn into like a place that was a longer term fit. Yeah. And I did that for about 3 months.
The classic. I'm gonna take a year.
Had it all figured out.
Yeah, 3 months. Okay.
And as part of that, and then I also, when I moved back to Indy, I got married, and my wife and now my 2 kids were 10 and 14 at the time, and the 14-year-old played volleyball. And so I like dove into what is high school and club volleyball in the U.S. Now, like starting in like 2021. And so that was like interesting. And through that network, I just had breakfast with the co-founder and owner, Jim Schumacher. And he was a friend of mine, like a fellow volleyball parent. I was on the Indiana Sports Board and Indiana Sports Corps board. And she knew this was like happening. And this was in 2023. And just said, you should just meet with Jim. Like he's trying to figure out how to start this thing. And
wait, who were you meeting with?
So his name's Jim Schumacher, and he is the co-owner and co-founder of.
Who was making the intro?
Just a friend of mine who met him through the sports core board.
Yeah. And she's like, you should go.
You should just have, I met with him. He's really trying to figure out how to build something. You should talk to him, see how you can help. It's awesome. It's professional women's volleyball. And she had a daughter playing, as did I. And I'm like, sure. So I really went into it being like, I'm going to do what I can. I don't have a full-time job right now, so maybe I can help in some way. And and then Jim and I sat there for 3.5 hours, and about 5 days later, I started building Indy Ignite.
No way.
So
I'm
only realizing telling you this right now, the strong parallels of Mandolin and Ignite in terms of the decision making process. I knew that the parallels in like what we're doing, but
as you sat there in your 3.5 hour primary meeting, doing your due diligence, obviously, what were the things that really drew you into the Ignite?
Obviously, I had come back to Indy to start something, get back to a community that I knew, and the Indianapolis tech community gave me a lot. I had wanted to give back to it. Mandolin did a little bit, not as much as I had hoped. And one of the things I really missed in London and San Francisco was just being part of a community. So that like being back here. But then if you work in a company that's not really connected to the community, it's hard to feel that. So just the fact that this was local, and you may not know this, but the music industry isn't booming in Indianapolis.
What?
A little bit more LA, New York, Nashville. So just the combination of like, wow, this is local, has a direct local integration and impact. It's building something from scratch. He has a business background despite like the passion to start this for volleyball. And then just through the pure business lens, I had seen volleyball up close. I mean, you go to one of these tournaments downtown, there's 30,000 people that have come to town for a volleyball tournament. There's 200 courts with 4 teams each, on the courts. It's just exploded. And so even that's fun. And it was like an opportunity it felt like a nonprofit mission with a for-profit like business challenge.
Yeah.
Like, how do we build this thing from scratch, but then how do we build it to be sustainable before, beyond any of us are even around anymore? It was just like a different challenge than I had seen previously in my career, and all of the crossover of just like all my love of sports and my love of business and my desire to give back to the community. And then like this women's sports vision of just like, how do we grow this? And how do we build a team that's becomes a bunch of mentors and like little girls can aspire to be? It was just like, I don't think an opportunity that checks all of those boxes really would ever exist again.
So you end up 5 days later accepting, what was the original role?
President and GM. So Jim had started it saying like, I'm going to be the owner.
Yeah.
And with his friend Don Hutchinson, and Don Hutchinson has a full-time job with Gelser Management, and so they knew like, hey, we're going to start this. We're going to be the owners, but we like the first thing we have to do is figure out who's going to build it and run it.
What existed when you took over? Like you're talking about these 2 co-owners, and then it's you, and like what were there? What did you take over? Like, was it even
we
like,
bought a franchise.
So you bought a franchise
a piece of paper
from the professional.
At the time, it was the PVF. It's now MLV, but
MLV. Yes. Okay, so they're like, okay, great. We're gonna bring a franchise to Indianapolis. You pay your money, whatever. So you have a piece of paper that says you have a team, and do you have a deadline of when you have to get a team created?
We had committed to joining the 2025 season,
which would be the second season of MVL.
Yes.
Okay, so you had a year.
And we had a project going with Innovative to figure out what our name and brand was going to be.
So
you
took the role of, I am going to be the president of MVL Teams 5. Like it didn't have a name. Like you're the 5th team. It was, team number 5.
It was PVF Indy PVF. No, Indy Pro Volleyball. That was the working name. Indy Pro Volleyball.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So where do you start? Let's go like day one. You are now like, you wake up, it's Monday morning. You're the president of Indy Pro Volleyball. What do you do? Like,
yeah, you start making a list of all the stuff you have to get done.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, I mean, I
list?
started. We obviously Innovative was an amazing partner, and we got the brand and the name, and started talking about. I'm a move fast, like sooner the better. Let's launch this. Let's let people know this is gonna, be here. And it was very much about like, how do we start building the brand?
And
first
you guys
and
end up,
foremost.
I feel like I heard the story. You guys ended up working with the Kelley School of Business, like their MBA program downtown, to like help with the naming process. I think I read an article
They
about
were
this.
part of Innovative's project, and then like there was MBA class that like did an analysis of the market and
That's
everything.
pretty cool. Like there's multiple stakeholders coming to the table. Also shout out to Kelley Evening MBA. They're a sponsor of ours. So that's a great working segue in there. That's awesome. So you start with the name and you want to get it out there. How long?
And we chose one of those big volleyball tournaments because we were in club season. It was January 24, and so we said let's go big at one of these local club tournaments. We have a lot of people from outside of Indy there, but all the local clubs go as well. And let's make sure we ingratiate our volleyball community first and foremost, because we knew it was big, passionate, talented, and we did a big launch at Central Zone at the end of January saying we're Indy Ignite and we're coming in January 2025.
What did the process look like with Innovative? Like, did you sit around a boardroom and they're like, okay, like here are your naming, like here are some options we come together with?
They had narrowed it. Jim and Don had narrowed it down with them, but that's exactly what they did. And then I helped kind of tweak, like no more than tweak the logo, which I think is best in the league. It's phenomenal name and logo.
The Ignite, come on.
Yeah.
What was the thought process to tie it into Indianapolis, and like, how did you land on? What was the final straw that said we are going to be the Ignite?
It was the narrative around like lighting a spark and this being the start of a movement, but then the fire of racing and basketball and like tying in our sports roots into that as well. And then at the top of the building in the Monument Circle is Lady Victory. That's her name.
Yeah.
And she's holding a torch. So the torch in the logo is designed after the torch that Lady Victory is holding. And then we had to...
That's ball.
Then we had to fight. We had to like make sure it wasn't too close to New York Liberty. And that's a little bit more known than our Lady Victory, but we're making her known now.
Absolutely. That is elite ball knowledge. Not that many people know that the monument circle, the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, is two parts: the obelisk and Lady Victory at the top. I just did a whole thing for the Indiana State Museum breaking this down. So I was like deeply, and designed by two different people. Like two different artists. One commissioned the obelisk and one commissioned Lady Victory.
Oh.
The more you know. That is elite downtown Indy ball knowledge. So you guys end up picking the name Ignite. You launch it at a local Indianapolis volleyball tournament. Yeah, where people come from the Midwest and beyond. Indiana is a hub for club volleyball. It's crazy.
It really is.
Then once you have a name, what's the first hire you have to make? Like, is the chicken or the egg? Is it staff? Is it players? Is it coach? Is it like what gets the ball rolling of getting people involved with this?
Indiana produces tons of incredible talent. One of those was Kenzie Knuckles, who played at Yorktown, state champion, and then went and played collegiately at Nebraska, which is, always a top 5 school.
Yeah. And Yorktown that's Munciana.
It's Munciana. She played at Munciana.
People got to know Munciana volleyball.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes. So Kenzie Knuckles is volleyball celebrity. I mean, she came to Central Zone and we had a line of people wanting to sign her, get her autograph. And she was a few years out of college, but the league had recruited her to play. She had chosen that she did not want to do that, but she wanted to be involved. And she was still in Nebraska kind of helping that team out. But as soon as we announced there was a team, she found us and said, like, I'm ready to move home and I want to help build a professional franchise here. So that was, like I said earlier, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I definitely consider that. So Kenzie started in February. We started figuring out how we get our name out more.
Not as a player.
Not as a player. Marketing manager.
Oh, so like you had volleyball celebrities that weren't signing up to play for the team. She came on to be like part of the office staff.
Yes.
Oh, like imagine, like that's kind of a cheat code. Your marketing manager is signing autographs in the volleyball league. Like,
talk about wearing multiple hats.
yeah,
Right?
like oh my gosh. Okay, so that was like kind of the first thing that set it in motion.
Yeah, and it was really, I was starting to construct like what does the team need to look like, but also we're bootstrapping this, and so I can't like just hire a bunch of people right away, like 11 months before we're hitting the court. So we knew it was going to be really about like how do we go out in the community and just like get our name out there more, start building honestly a database of people that could be ticket buyers and who
Yeah,
always comes back to data.
The first thing the Indy Ignite invested in was a CRM, so we could start getting the data. That is your tech speaking. This episode of Get In is brought to you by Greek's Pizzeria, a true Indiana original that's been making people happy since 1969. If you grew up in Indiana, you've probably got a memory tied to Greek's. Whether it's grabbing a slice after a high school game, late nights with friends, or Friday pizza night with the family, what makes them special is that every pizza is made from scratch. Hand-tossed dough, homemade sauce, and cheese that actually stretches when you pull a slice apart. They've been an Indiana favorite for over 55 years, still family-owned and committed to quality and community. So next time you're craving pizza that actually tastes like it was made with care, go with Greek's. Order online at GreeksPizzeria.com or stop in and grab a pie hot from the oven. That's Greek's Pizzeria, Indiana's hometown pizza since 1969. Do you end up then getting a coach, players, or sponsors? Those three legs, what one comes first?
Starting to talk to sponsors was something I started doing week one.
Like, how do you sell that to someone? It's like, hey, it's not there yet, but this is going to be really cool. Would you please give me money for something that's going to come out next year?
It's a tough sell. I won't. It's sort of like people talk about raising money, and you have to first do it on a vision, then you have to execute, and then you have to do it on data. That's kind of like sponsorships.
Yeah, you're like you're racing on roadmap.
Yeah,
for sure. Like,
for sure.
Like it's gonna be awesome. Like we're gonna have a DJ and we'll have brand activations. Like it'll be so cool. And like meanwhile, it doesn't. Like I don't know, how old was the Fishers event? Did you even know you guys were playing there at that point?
We knew we were playing there. We announced that in February.
Like when did that open? Was that even
that opened in November? Opened about 6 weeks before our opening night.
So the venue
I always said like we have a venue that's not built and a league that's not played. And a team that hasn't played.
No players.
Otherwise, we've got this locked in.
But our marketing manager's signing autographs. So, like, we're doing something right. Like, that's all. Okay, who was the first, I got to know, the first community partner, the first sponsor that wrote a check and signed up and said, I want to be a sponsor of the Indy Ignite?
Taylor's Bakery reached out to us.
Yes.
And so, like, let us help. We want to do this. So we did maybe get 2 or 3 inbound leads, and the rest was just
shout out Taylor's Bakery. It's like, so now our marketing manager's signing autographs. We've got pastries. Like things are starting to come together.
You want a nice cookie?
Yeah,
we got that.
Okay, so where in this process did things finally like start to feel like there was momentum, and you were gonna like everything was gonna come together? You can start signing players. Like, where was the momentum really rolling into opening night?
So we hired our coach so the season, one of the things I did from January to May, that was the first season of the league. So I went and saw every venue on a game day, met with the other presidents, tried to like take their learnings, obviously asking them like, what should I be worried about right now? What should I be focused on? What should I get a head start on? So to see it, make it tangible was really exciting. It was also like, oh, this is a good product. Like this is engaging, edge of your seat. So that was like a good confidence builder, I would say, for us, of seeing the first season of the league go so well.
Yeah, like volleyball is entertaining to watch. Like it's got a lot of action. I remember we would go to, high school volleyball games or whatever. And like when they get really going and there's like tons of hits and digs and the whole 9 yards, you're like, it's fun. Versus like, again, I love all my indie sports friends. I've been to a few 11 games, and sometimes if you show up to the wrong game, it's like there's not a lot of action that goes on, and I'm sitting there watching soccer, and I'm like waiting for something. Like I think hockey does a good job. There's always action going on there. Volleyball is similar to that.
Yeah, I think volleyball is the best. I mean, bias, obviously, but there's a point scored like every 20 to 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
our team in particular, but generally it's just a really gritty sport. Like what these players are able to get to is really exciting. But then when you get to see like how hard they hit, how high they jump, it's pretty unexpected if you've never seen it before.
Dude, I think we need to do a marketing campaign and you bring out your hitters and I'll just go on the other side and try to dig some out and they just blast them at me.
That would be so fun. They would love it.
I said do that and then the fuel, do the same thing, put me in the goal and have them hit slap shots at me. So like people can, this is the age-old thing of like they need to put a normal person in the Olympics so you can see really how big the gap is. Like just imagine, like is Anise, is she an outside hitter? Because she's like 6 foot tall.
She's a setter.
She's a set. Oh God. So they're even taller.
She's
than
like
her.
short. She's not short, but
I mean, she towers over me. It's just so the listeners, let me paint you a picture there. So it's like there's
we've got
6'6"
middle, Kara Cressy. And then we've got a couple 6'3s. One's middle, one's an outside.
Yeah. All right. Comment on this. If you want to see me try to return a spike from a 6'6" middle hitter, leave a comment on the video because I think that would be must-watch television.
Absolutely.
We could even live stream that one. There you go. So you end up signing. Like, how do you learn about players? Like, I mean. Yes, you were, in the high school, middle school club volleyball scene, but like that's still a long way from like signing professional players, learning about coaches, like putting a roster together. Like, how do you learn and teach yourself what goes into roster management?
I mean, that was a team sport for sure. Our second hire was Randy Raff, who's our director of community engagement, and we got somebody from the volleyball community to lead community engagement. She'd been a college coach for 20 years. And was ready to do something different. And I mean, it was me, Kenzie, Randy, Jim, and Don, who both have, Don's played and coached volleyball for 25 years. Jim's kids are really good. His daughter right now just played at UCLA this year and played at Wisconsin her freshman year, which are both really good programs. So
I mean, is she?
He's gotten to know a lot of people through that and a lot of parents, and there was a lot of people playing. So we hired our coach in early June, and free agency started June 30th. And so all of us were just calling all the existing players that were playing in MLV and, trying to get them from other teams. One of the things the league is doing is having all the contracts be 1 year, which creates challenges. There's people we would love to sign for more than 1 year, but it is to continue to incentivize new franchises to come on and not feel like they're too far behind. Like they have a big pool to recruit from. So
is that hard though to build loyalty? Like you think about like fan loyalty, where it's like, oh, so-and-so's played here for a decade.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, if your favorite player is going to be on your least favorite team next year, you're kind of like.
That was the returners were important to us for a lot of reasons. That's one of many. And so to have 7 returners this year when, everybody's on a 1-year contract was a big deal.
What was the most surprising or hardest part about building a professional volleyball roster?
Gosh, the first roster was just like a madhouse because we were the unknown team and people had to feel ready to go to a market that'd never done it before. And they were in a market who'd never done it before. They're all experiencing year 1 of a franchise. So to go do it again, was a lot to ask people. So naturally they had a little bit of this, like, let's build something. We know how to do it better. We want to help more than just on the court, which was awesome. That was surprising to me how many cared about that, how meaningful it is to them to be a part of this movement, not just, hey, it's really cool I get to play professional volleyball, but like how important it is for them to see it succeed beyond themselves and know they were on the ground floor of this professional league. So we got people who were more aligned to that, which was awesome, but not something I had thought through before. We got a couple of Hoosiers, of course. So those were some of our first calls. We had Kylie Murr and Carly Scott Kylie, another Munciana girl, and Carly Scott played at Carmel High School, and then was an All-American at Michigan. So we got a couple Hoosiers. That was awesome. We got a couple Boilermakers, which was awesome. Blake Mueller and Grace Cleveland. Grace Wade now both played at Purdue. So not from Indiana, but played at Purdue. And
Hoosier roots,
had
Hoosier
always
ties.
great program. So yeah, I think probably what was most surprising in the end was that it happened, that it came together. You know, it's just like, we'll just take this a step at a time. And then we got just an incredible group of players. It was awesome.
Take me through how you were feeling on the home opener. First day, like this product, this venue one now exists and people are coming into it. This team exists, this roster exists, like everything's coming together and now it's the big day. Take me through how you were feeling then.
Well, first I didn't sleep all of December and early January because it was like, God, I hope people come. And people were buying tickets, but not at the rate I had hoped for. And the thing about live event, there's 100 things that make live events really hard. One of them that just makes it hard on your nerves is most of the tickets are bought, 72 hours before the game. So, but we did sell out 4 days before the game. So I got some sleep, which was awesome. And then opening night was just really overwhelming. Packed house. I think everybody was blown away at the experience. So excited about our team. We came out, played not a really great first set, and so it was like, oh God, what is this going to be? And then we came back and won 3 in a row, and the place was just on fire. We got a win. So many people walked out of opening night with their favorite player already. It was so great.
That's sick. I went to, you talk about at first being a little apprehensive. I went to Caitlin Clark's first home game in Indy, and I think it was against the Connecticut Sun. I don't remember. We got beat by 35. And I was walked out of there and I was like, oh, I don't know. And then after that, they start to get it together and they go on a run. And it all ends up working out. But the first time it's they haven't played a professional volleyball game together as a team or a professional volleyball set as a team. Everyone's figuring out the chemistry and gelling and what you do in practice. This is real. This is a game.
It's very different.
The nerves. I don't know. A lot of them. What size college does the average professional volleyball player come from?
They're all big. I mean, our players between last year and this year are all coming from top programs, which is Louisville, Pitt, Nebraska, Purdue. IU had a crazy great year this year. UK. So sizable schools with really great reputations in volleyball.
Well, it's even take out Nebraska because they obviously have the outdoor whole spectacle. But I don't know, what's the average attendance at a Big Ten volleyball game?
It depends on the gym they're playing in. So
really?
The gym Purdue plays in, all but 2 of their matches, Holloway only seats 3,000.
Yeah. So
if that actually.
For some of them, that opening night, sold out crowd in Fishers, there's a lot of people, a lot of nerves.
It was awesome though because people who have played at Nebraska, Penn State, when Purdue volleyball plays at Mackey, they sell it out. So they've played in front of 18,000 people. And that's becoming more on the regular. NCAA are setting attendance records every weekend of every season. It's crazy. But the team did tell me that was more electric than any Big Ten or SEC volleyball match we've played in. And they're all playing in the Final Four and stuff. So that was really exciting. That was highly validating of this is what the Central Indiana sports nation can bring.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing about Indiana and sports, is just we go wild for them.
We do.
So coming out of year one. I think there were 6 teams.
7 teams in year one of the league, 8 teams in our year one last year.
And how many teams are there in this season?
This year's there's 8 again. We lost Vegas but gained Dallas, which is a great market, and we have 3 more joining for 27.
Okay, so this year there's 8, and next year there'll be 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. You talk about growing. When you think about why professional women's volleyball is positioned to continue to grow, what gets you excited about that? And what should people know about why this sport is going to continue to grow, why we need to get in and be a part of the Ignite right now on the ground floor?
So it's funny, it's globally huge. It's one of the sports that like U.S. is a little late to the game. So if you watch even the Olympics, like women's professional volleyball is one of the most followed sports in the Olympics. Asia has huge leagues. Europe has multiple leagues. Turkey always does well. Turkey and Italy are kind of leaders in both like the professional leagues that they have, as well as how those countries do on the world level. Brazil as well. So first of all, it actually is proven already globally. It just hasn't been proven in the U.S., but I think we're going to have a quick acceleration of that. NCAA, totally to me, a leading indicator. And year over year, the viewership of that just continues to grow. This year's 2025 season, TV viewership was up almost 40% just in 1 year. And so it just keeps growing at that clip. So it really is like, as we talk about for Indy Ignite games, if we can get somebody there once, they want to come back. And yes, part of that's the game day experience we put on, and we're really, really proud of it. But ultimately, it is the sport itself. It is these players. It is the pace, the action, the talent, the athleticism, and you can't stop watching it once you start. It's just how do we get more people introduced to that first time faster?
When you think about the fan experience at an Ignite game, what makes it so special?
We have built a community really quickly, and it's a mix of diehard volleyball fans to people who literally their first volleyball match they watched was at an Indy Ignite game, and they're just like Central Indiana sports fans who are now volleyball fans, experts. Some of them say
the classic armchair expert, right?
Yes. And so that community we've built, the traditions we're building. When you come to a match, on our set point, you stand up, you chant "Light It Up" in line with each hit on our side, and so it's just.
Who is going to think of that? Like, who's like, yeah, we need to, this is going to be our tradition. Like someone sitting around a boardroom and is like, light it up.
Those are things we talk about in business meetings.
That's a pretty cool job.
Which is pretty awesome.
Like if you guys are ever looking for like some outside, free consulting on that, like, hey, just show up. We're working on if we're gonna have like a drum or a band or like what we're doing next for fan experience. Like, just come in and let's brainstorm some ideas.
We'll take you up on it.
There we go. I've been pitching that idea to so many businesses and sports teams across the state and have not been hit up one time. So we'll see if this one pans out.
Well, be prepared.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you have fun traditions. The Fishers Event Center is also a brand new venue that's freaking awesome. Like, no matter whether you go to a concert or a game or whatever it is there, it is really cool. So I think all that makes it a perfect storm.
It is. It's a perfect size for us. There's no bad seat. Really, as cliche as it sounds, it's really, really true.
Yeah.
And it makes the energy just palpable. Yeah. It really does.
One thing that Indiana is doing is really pouring into women's sports and growing that to make Indiana and Indianapolis the capital of women's sports in the world. On
our business plan, we had signed Caitlin Clark in month 4 of our.
Did it work? That
was a nice tailwind we got.
Just put it on you can just sit on the bench, just hang out there, come for a game, 1-day contract. That would be awesome. Why do you believe that Indiana is positioned to become the capital for women's sports?
I knew we had hosted some cool events. I went to the Super Bowl parties in 2012, but I have absolutely been blown away by both the sports community of how all the teams are lifting each other up and how supportive they've been of us, coupled with just the quality of events we can put on. And just the volunteer army alone is unique to anywhere else in the U.S. We have been rated really highly on when we've hosted the Super Bowl or the All-Star game for NBA and now WNBA. It's just it's a really, really special place that is probably still not well known enough of just like how, I think you've just been here all the time. You to kind of take it for granted. But having like Indiana Sports Corp, we were the first state in the U.S. to have a sports commission. That's incredible. So it's really been a part of our roots for a really long time. And it honestly only makes sense to then like establish just that much bigger of a vision for us, because we have the momentum, we have the capability, we have the community and the stakeholders and the leadership that can take it there. And from a women's sports perspective, obviously we have the fever, and a lot of people don't understand how committed the Simons have been to keeping, having the fever from nearly the beginning of the WNBA and now being one of the highest valued franchises in the WNBA. Is a huge commitment and an amazing foundation. And like the fact that we get to be another really credible data point alongside that of like, Indiana's a volleyball state. We have an incredible professional franchise already. We went to the championship match last year. You met Lauren. We're going to win some titles.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, why wouldn't it be the place?
One, Coach, I'm a fan. Like from the first minute, I would not want to be on the receiving end of her dismay. Let's just say, like, she's got some great intensity to her, which I love from a coach. It's
not fun. I have been.
And has been around professional volleyball forever.
That was the biggest thing for me after year one. We were a pretty high rookie team. We relied heavily on the draft. Transitioning from NCAA to professional when there's no one that's like really done it before, getting someone that has that experience and is coming in with a strong point of view of what professional volleyball is, not just like what's another level of volleyball in the U.S., is really huge. It's a lot kind of in the weeds of just like style of play, but also how you coach professional athletes differently than you coach college athletes. It's kind of like baked into all of these other professional leagues, but since volleyball is new, getting someone with that experience was really important to me, and just her championship winning mentality, and it's been proven with her experience.
Has it been hard to build a culture that this is professional? And like not just like, oh, it's volleyball, like I think that one of the things as I think about building something from scratch, even like from our perspective, when you build a business that is like an Instagram, YouTube, modern media company, and they're like, oh, like it's kind of like a joke, like, okay, one day maybe you'll grow up or whatever. When you're building a first of league in a town that has Caitlin Clark and the Fever and the Pacers and the Colts, like almost like this level of, no, you need to take this seriously. And like this professionalism, like this is pro. Like treat this like you treat any pro team. Has that been a challenge, and how do you think about and approach that and tackle that?
I wouldn't say it's been a challenge, but it has been something we've had to be deliberate about. We've had to be deliberate about making sure people know this is the top level league in the U.S. They're not a minor league feeding into something else. Like this is a top level of play that you can achieve in the U.S. For the sport. And there's just like other things that come off of that, right? Like people know their names from college, and they can follow them. We'll even without contracts, we'll have franchise players that stay with us for a long time, and they're not going to like be playing in a different like level on any given day. And so there's expectations of play. You got to translate that into like the game day experience itself and the professionalism we want to bring to it. Like we want that people are paying a really good price to come and be entertained. And yes, a lot of that's volleyball, but it's not just volleyball. And setting our own expectations really high and making sure that we're always meeting them when every time, because every game we put on is somebody's first game, and that's the first impression. So we're making first impressions day in and day out. And so that level of quality is really, really important for setting the right tone. And then on the volleyball side, it's not, these players take it very seriously, but they haven't done it they haven't done it before, haven't done it for very long. We have one player from Italy who's been playing for 9 years. So that was like important to just like bring a pro in and like knows what this is like. We have a couple of our Pitt alums actually that have played internationally and come back. And so they knew what it was like to play over there. And can kind of compare and contrast. And I think we're doing a lot of things well, but there is, Lauren and I have to talk, every day about the expectations we set with the players too, of what it means to be professional, because people don't appreciate all the different things off the court we expect them to do. They have to do media. We're doing, they do sponsorship appearances. They do club appearances. So they have an agenda from every morning they wake up to every night when they go to bed that is pretty well prescribed and intense. And then there's a high level of degree of them taking care of themselves because this is their job. Yeah.
I think if I had to think about how you hit the level of fan engagement of a team or like, I kind of talk about this when I talked about the Indians. It's like you go to a game and it's so much fun and you love it and it's a night out and you're in downtown Indy with the skyline. But no one, 10% of people, maybe 20% of people know their record going in there. Yes, you want your home team to win, but know where they're standing in the division or are they on the way to a title or what? And it's because they might be watching the Pirates or the Cubs or whoever else.
Right.
So I think if I had to visualize, it's like 3 years from now when people are walking in, they know, we're 12-2, got to win the middle of the road. We got to win this to make it to the championship or whatever, to the playoffs. That's how you know that it's, people have become ravenous fans of the sport, not just it's something fun to do on a Thursday. That can still be true. But you want them to be fans of the franchise and they walk in and they know.
Absolutely. That is such a great tangible example of what I mean when I say we want to be thought of alongside the Pacers, Fevers, and Colts, because that's the case of every Pacers, Fevers, and Colts game, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I do think, we have almost 1,000 season ticket holders who 100% know that.
Let's go.
They're watching every away game. We had a watch party for our first match that we had to turn people away from of our first season ticket holders, as they are invested. And I even think a lot of the casual fans are paying attention.
Well, I think that's interesting too. And this is not a dig at the Fuel or the Indians or anything like that, because I love all of our sports teams. But I think from the Indians perspective, they don't really get to control their roster. They're told who comes up, who goes down, all that piece. But for you all, it's
you can't invest in getting the fans to know the players because they could be gone tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow. And it was super cool to have Paul Skeens, and it's oh man, you can't throw him a bag to stay with the Indians. The guy's got to come win the Cy Young. So it's for you guys though, it's you could get a player that the fans love, and you can work out the contracts every year to make sure they keep coming back and fans keep building that rapport and connection. So maybe that's the difference. It's if you control both fan experience and roster management, that's where you can really create the magic of people walk in and they know their favorite player and they know the record, they know what we have to do to get to bring a title back
you've
home.
made it when they're criticizing who's the starting lineup is, right?
That's true.
That's true. The real tell.
Oh gosh. Did you see that live stream? I don't know, the middle hitter got dug up by the internet boy a couple times. We might need to figure that out. Oh, I love it. Well, this has been super fun. If you had one final, maybe let's say a pitch to a listener that's never been to an Ignite game, maybe not been to a collegiate volleyball game either. So they don't know what they remember is high school volleyball, seeing that. What would the pitch be of why we need to come to an Ignite game?
It's just come join the community and see what it's all about, because you will be on the edge of your seat. You will see the most athletic volleyball that exists really in the world. And it's a fabric of who Indiana is now. And so if you live here, you've got to be a part of that.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, we're rounding up. We have a couple fun questions here as we finish up the show. This question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you, why do you call Indiana home?
It's the people.
Time and time again, we hear you just can't beat the people of Indiana, the people of the Hoosier State. They are incredible and part of why we love it here. Okay.
And our players coming from outside of here comment on it. They come here, they move here for better part of 6 months, and they love it. especially around where they live in Fisher. Like people calling them out at the coffee shop and the breakfast place. And when they're coming from other communities, they're not used to that and they love it.
That's sick. Well, yeah, I mean, if you everyone saw the clip with Lauren, she talks about how
Switzerland.
How Fisher's is a model of Switzerland. Like totally checks out. Let's go. Okay, we have some rapid fire hits for you. So in high school, volleyball, basketball, tennis.
Yes.
One lesson you learned from each of those sports.
Volleyball is, and this is one of the things I haven't mentioned that I should have, like it's really positive. You come together after every point. Everybody's lifting each other up. Like it is like positivity and optimism and like forgetting the past and only moving forward.
That was my favorite part was like our high school volleyball team would have like the chants, like a little ace in your face. Like, come on. Like I can't remember all the rest of them, but I just remember that one. And they'd come in and they'd say their little chant. And I'd be like in the student section for the volleyball team. Like all the football players would be there and be like, yeah, look, ace in your face. Number 4, come on.
I mean, you watch every time a hitter turns around, they're either getting wildly celebrated or they have 5 people telling them to shake it off and let's go.
Okay. So positivity. Yep.
Basketball is all about teamwork, playing your role, knowing your role, seeing the court, which is kind of the parallel of like seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
And this is all about mental strength because you're out there all alone. I did play doubles in college, but I played singles in high school. And that was, I mean, the mental toughness you have to learn is just like nothing else.
Okay, best memory from DePaul/DePaul tennis.
DePaul tennis is easily our Hilton Head trips. All things DePaul is we played hard and we've worked hard and we played hard, which was, all the fun memories. And DePaul overall is just walking around in this bubble that like doesn't exist anywhere else in the world or anywhere else again in life of just like, you just have a high of, everybody's awesome. You're having a good time. You're high achievers and you own the campus collectively.
It's like a weird little microcosm that only exists in Greencastle on DePauw's campus. And words just don't describe it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I tried, but yeah.
Okay. So you've worked in the music industry and you've worked in the sports industry. Where do you think, if you had all of the events in the world, where do you think the greatest overlap of sports and music are? Like, is there a place you've been to or a thing or an event or I don't know what? This question just kind of came to me off the top of my head, but I'm thinking of like, there's a lot of people who love music and a lot of people who love sports. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a time where you've seen them come together in a crazy, insane way?
Probably going to the Snake Pit at Indy 500.
Yeah, there it is. Sports, Snake Pit.
I mean, EDM. Super Bowl, incredible concert at halftime. Yeah. Stands are filled with like corporate people, not like real fans.
Game day. Who has the coolest job? Besides player, obviously, player is very fun. Who has the coolest job on game day for the Indy Ignite?
Pepper.
Yeah.
She became a fan favorite very early on.
I don't know if you guys listened to the episode that we did with the coach and Anise. But I said, oh, Pepper, named after the drill. And enlightened them on the fact that Pepper, I think, was named after the drill of Pepper.
How did they not know that?
Well, sometimes people just don't put it all together. And she's like, I never thought. And I was like, ball knowledge. I've got it.
That was another great business meeting, designing a mascot.
It's a person in a head. So designing a mascot without a full body cover is semi-challenging. Because what if you get a different sized person who ends up being Pepper, and it's like, Pepper, all of a sudden you grew 6 feet. What? That's I don't know. I think that's an interesting one. Finally, before I do have the same 3 questions that we ask everyone, but throughout your career, you've been in various leadership roles, all the way from big enterprise to sports to startups. If you had a piece of advice for aspiring leaders out there that want to grow teams, that want to advance their career, that want to, end up working in these really cool opportunities, what would your advice be?
First of all, do it.
If only a brand had that as their slogan.
As I said, my last 2 ventures, which have been incredibly impactful to me, I did because I couldn't imagine not doing it. So just kind of jump into the unknown, you'll never regret it. You'll always regret not doing something more than doing something, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And in terms of how to go about it, is just like hire people smarter than you and power the shit out of them and get out of their way.
Amen to that. I love it. Okay. These are the same 3 questions we ask every guest that comes on, all about the state of Indiana. So from your time in London to your time in San Francisco, all the places you've been, working with the music industry in Nashville and meeting with every president of every Major League Volleyball team, if you could shout it from the rooftops, what's one thing the world needs to know about Indiana?
Indiana's a volleyball state.
Yeah. Come on. Okay, wait, how are, like, when you think of, obviously, high school volleyball, Munciana, that's all good. How are our colleges? Like, how is IU, Purdue, is Notre Dame?
So IU and Purdue are both in the Sweet 16 this fall.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Indiana Wesleyan has been the NAIA champion for the last 3 years.
3-peat?
For the NCAA championships this year, we had 46 Hoosiers playing in the, like, D1 NCAA championships, which was the 6th largest state. And of course, you always have like Texas, Florida, California in there because they have so many people.
Yeah.
And then it was Illinois, Ohio, Indiana. So Midwest is the best.
Let's go. The volleyball belt. Come on. That's awesome. Indiana's a volleyball state. Okay. Now here's your opportunity to enlighten us about a place or a thing in Indiana that more people need to be talking about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Diavolo Pizza at the bar.
The one on like 54th in College? Or 54th in the Monon?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's not a hidden secret.
Well, I live in Briarville.
It is for people that live in Zionsville.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about Diavola. One, you need a date spot, like a romantic spot. Get a reservation there. The mood lighting is good. Like, I would say not a first date, you know? Like, this is like, okay, we've established some type of relationship here, and let me just tell you, it is just a total vibe. And delicious food.
Really good food.
The pizza is so good.
Could compete with any city in the U.S. for
Actually, before I asked my girlfriend to become my girlfriend, it was before a date at Diavola. So you too, anyone out there looking to start a romantic relationship, you too could have a relationship.
So she said yes?
She did say yes. She said no, we were probably going to McDonald's or probably not going anywhere. But she said yes, and we had dinner at Diavola. Look at that.
Nice.
Fun spot. That's a good hidden gem. Finally, this is where we source new guests and learn about people with incredible stories. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Emma Halter and Kara Cressy are our Hoosier rookies on our team. They played at Texas and Louisville, respectively. Emma's got 2 natties. Kara, Final Four last year.
Where were they from in Indiana?
They're legit.
Like what high school?
Emma is Roncalli, which is a
Southside.
volleyball mainstay, and Kara's from Fort Wayne.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. So that's a pretty full circle to go like from Indiana to a huge school, compete for Final Four national titles.
Top 5, arguably, top 10, arguably top 5 programs.
And then you're like, I'm coming home. Like, let's go. So fun. It was great to hang out. It was great to learn more about your journey. I mean, incredible. From tech to startups to now volleyball. Like, I love it. This was a really fun one, and I'd been wanting to meet you for years at this point. So awesome to hang out. Great to learn about the Ignite. If people want to buy tickets, if they want to learn more, if they want to get off your ass and go to an Ignite game. When's the schedule? When's the season wrap up? How much time do we have left?
Our last home game is May 1st.
Oh,
so we have 14 home games total. And IndyIgniteVB.com. That's our handle for Instagram. Follow us. There's really fun content from our players. It's the best way to get to know us.
I love it. Well, hey, this has been great, and we will see you out at the game.
Thank you so much for having me.
This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.